everyone. Welcome to the 10-Minute C Discussion podcast, where I, Nora, your host, will break some exciting news from Southeast Asia, a small but fast-growing region in the Asian continent. Now let's stream into our 8th episode, ASEAN Gen Z in the Housing War. Accounting for 25% of the total population, Gen Z in Southeast Asia is already among the key workforce of great dynamism and creativity, fostering the impressive performance of the bloc's market and maintaining its ranking as the world's 5th biggest economy. Born in an era of innovation and transformation, this generation is adept at utilizing machinery, regularly renovating the current technology, and also shaping a more productive corporate operation, integrating both human intelligence and robotic capability. Proactive and innovative as they may seem, this is also a generation facing incremental uncertainties at a larger scale compared to the older counterparts. For the majority of Gen Z-ers, they may have at least 3 years growing up finding jobs and trying to get by during the great hit by COVID-19 pandemic. Such a period kick-started a longer change of consequences, including global inflation, mass employee layoffs, and economic crisis at different levels, making a secured career and also stable settlement become among the top concerns of most Gen Z-ers. Witnessing the non-stop rise in the property price, though some features inside the real estate market are not totally comprehensible, quite a number of young adults start diving into their research for an ideal home, calculating the required saving they should have to own an accommodation, and also planning out a long-run trajectory to realize their dream of gaining home ownership. With immature finance during the early stage of their careers, these potential home owners tend to hold a different belief in property purchasing. Looking into a survey on young adults across the 6 biggest economies in ASEAN, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines, a surging trend of pursuing smaller apartments, opting for rental of various terms, and living near different facilities is relatively obvious. These preferences are, in fact, rational for Gen Z, given the fact that rental is getting more and more expensive just within a short period of time. Living in a small apartment for rent, which is closer to the city center, seems to be the most feasible housing option, allowing relocating flexibility and saving a large amount of living expenses on transportation. Some Gen Z-ers even embark on their journey of long-term rentals rather than a permanent home ownership. As houses these days are becoming luxurious assets, mortgage has become indispensable in any efforts to own a home. Yet, living in a fast-changing world, with several unexpected economic twists and turns, nothing can guarantee the young that they can secure a well-paid job, whose wage is capable of repaying such a heavy loan in the long run. Thus, long-term rental, temporary as it may seem, is the most financially effective solution to any desires of settlement in big cities for young people. Meanwhile, there are some minorities deciding to take bolder actions, securing a better settlement future. As more construction projects are in progress, knowing that waiting will only make it harder to buy a home, some young adults decide to plan out their finances, register for mortgages, and borrow money from acquaintances to secure their homes while they are yet to be fully built or equipped. Regardless of financial background, profession, and personal planning, the fact that the later born Gen Z-ers are, the more challenging it will be for them to possess a home bought by themselves is undeniable. Understanding the fast-growing demand of permanent homes in cities, governments of the 6 nations have exerted on erecting more social houses, establishing several financial schemes for both low-income earners as well as first-time buyers, and some even implement assistance on long-term rentals aligning with current desire of most young adults. Yet, Any constructions or paperwork require a relatively long time to process. Waiting for all to settle without considering other possible alternatives sometimes lessens the chances of the young to own houses. Hence, breakthroughs are imperative for both individuals' financial planning and governmental policies to serve the urgent need of housing. Instead of relying heavily on such schemes, governments could expand the supply of affordable rental housing. Well-regulated rental markets provide flexibility for young workers and low-income families who may not be ready for long-term mortgages. A stronger rental sector also reduces speculative demand, since not everyone needs to buy property to secure a place to live. High demand in central cities often reflects limited access to jobs, education, and infrastructure outside those hubs. Policies that promote secondary urban centers, supported by efficient public transport and economic opportunities, can reduce pressure on housing in capital cities. For young people, the financial breakthrough to buying a house often begins with setting a clear and measurable goal. Instead of vaguely saying, for a home someday, it's important to define a type of property, its estimated cost, and the down payment required. From there, creating a timeline makes the goal concrete. The next step is building the down payment fund strategically, rather than relying only on a basic savings account. It helps to automate transfers into a separate, dedicated fund. Placing this money in safe but higher yield instruments like money market funds, government bonds, or fixed deposits accelerates growth without too much risk. A crucial discipline here is to direct windfalls, such as bonuses, side hustle income, or tax refunds, straight into this account instead of spending them. Equally important is managing debt carefully. High-interest debts like credit cards or personal loans should be paid down as quickly as possible, since they eat into saving capacity. Avoiding new liabilities, for instance, financing a new car, can make a big difference in keeping the debt-to-income ratio low. Maintaining a clean credit record also improves the chances of securing a favorable mortgage rate later. Living in a better equipped society with the assistance from technology and availability of services does not mean that there is no challenge to Gen Z adulthood. Going through the long quarantine of 3 years due to COVID-19 pandemic, this is a generation that may understand deeply how fragile and unexpected the world's outlook can be. Though prioritizing work-life balance does help them sustain a well-being lifestyle, it cannot prevent the young away from reality that home ownership is never in their visible sight as time flies. Gen Z, no matter what life stages they are at, it is advisable to take first step monitoring the outlook of the housing market, acquiring relevant terms and policies to well prepare themselves for better financial planning and long-term savings. Facing it or not, delaying plans for house purchase will only make their dream homes out of hand. Besides making the most of governmental funds and assistance available, a detailed roadmap from selecting house type, locations, to loan down payment should be drafted out. Though the road to secure a home is still bumpy, with careful planning and preparation, it is not impossible. So that's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and found the news interesting. For your convenient reference to further details of the news I mentioned, please find the links to my blog page in the description, where I have compiled all the related information. If you have any questions, or you want to discuss more on what I shared today, please leave your comments below. I would love to talk to each of you more as well. You can search for more episodes of this 10-minute C discussion podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, and my own blog page. Thank you for listening to today's episode all the way to the end. And I hope to see you again in my next episode of 10-minute C discussion, which will be released soon. Once again, this is Nora, your host. Thank you so much and goodbye.